This conference will now be recorded.
So in this video, we're going to review the different sections of the MyACT career assessment site, looking through the results after you have completed your 3 interest inventories. So back here at the dashboard, when you log in, of course, you hit the Plans tab and it takes you to your dashboard. I like to start with the career side. So I'm going to hit Search Careers. And I've already taken my interest inventories. So you can see they're showing up over here. None of them are lit up. But what I like to do, when you click Career Search, I want you to go right up here into the right-hand corner and click View Career Map. So this career map has different pathways and occupations grouped into categories. And as you can see here, if it's grayed out, it didn't match any of my inventories. So any of my answers on the 3 inventories, the jobs that fall under these categories did not match with me. So I don't even need to look over here right now. The blue ones match 1 of my 3 tests, and the red ones match 2 or more of my tests. So the red ones fit me the best at this particular moment in time. Now, when I say this moment in time, it's important to remember that as you're exploring through classes and job shadows and different opportunities throughout high school, your interests and your abilities and your values are going to change through those experiences. So it's a really good idea to come back and retake your interest inventories maybe every 6 months, definitely at least once a year, to see what's changed. What have you learned more about? Where do your interests lie? Maybe you thought you would be interested in something and then an experience changed your mind. You want to go back in and reflect that. But based on where you're at today, after you've taken your inventories, you can click on any of these occupations categories, and it will tell you what falls into those areas. And then you can star the ones, so you can see this category of education matched all 3 of my inventory tests. And here are some featured occupations within education. I would love to teach at the college level, so I can star that one. I can star educational administrator. That sounds like something I might want to read more about. And I can click more to continue to go through additional options. And it'll tell you each career which inventories it matched, interests, abilities, or values. So that is one way to start going through and highlighting some of your interests. Once I've gone through education, I can go back to the career map, and maybe I want to go back up here to marketing. What are some careers in marketing that might interest me? I've done a lot with branding in the past. That might be interesting to me. Let's see, I might be interested in travel. Sounds like a fun job. If I go back up here, let's try one more. Let's do management. So you can see in the past I've starred some. So public administrator, project manager, those things sounded interesting to me. So you can go through each of your categories and find careers that interest you. If there's something on your list that you've never heard of, or that you're wondering, how did that match me? So for example, legislator, I know what that is, but I'm not really feeling it might be a good match. So you can click on any career that's listed, and there is a section of this site that's going to tell you all about that career. And this is where, as you're going through this, we have provided worksheets where you can track some of these things down as you find more interesting things about yourself. So each career is going to be given a snapshot, and it's going to show you, a bulleted list of generally what this career does, some characteristics, salary, growth, what kind of training is recommended for this particular career, that you have a master's degree. But then you can get into more details. So it's going to give you tasks. What does a legislator do? What does the work setting of a legislator look like? What are the tools that they use? Is there advancement opportunity? And where to find more information? So that's all well and good, but what happens if, I'm interested in something else? So we can go back to that career map, and let's go back under management, and let's do public administrator. So we're looking at public administration, and we go under the details, and it tells us all about the tools, advancement, where to find more information. Then we click training. Now training is going to be what kind of education or training is required to work in this field. And what's great is, it tells you very simply, you need a bachelor's degree in public or business administration. Sometimes a master's degree might be required depending on the level of public administration you're looking at. Courses you might take after high school in pursuing those degrees: management of public policy, budget, financial management, professional ethics, all of those kinds of things. But then it does some more things that can help you right now. What should you take in high school if you're interested in a career like this? Management classes, business math, accounting, econ, law, any kind of college prep classes, because it requires you to have a bachelor's degree, maybe even someday a master's degree. So it gives you an idea as you're planning your 4-year plan each year with your counselors, what kind of classes you might want to fit in addition to what's required to graduate. It also gives you some recommendations on outside activities, so you can run for office, student government. Public speaking is something that's going to be good to know. Participate in community service programs, play on team sports, learn how to some leadership skills. So those are all things outside of the classroom that are recommended to prepare for this kind of career. And then it gives a list of majors that you could have after high school when you're going to college to prepare for this career. So that is very helpful. Some other tabs here: qualities. Most people that work in this field, they like challenging and interesting work. They like the pay and the benefits. They dislike that it tends to have long hours. There's some deadlines. They sit for a long time in an office. So it gives you an idea of whether or not you're going to like or dislike some of the things that are similar to this career. And then it's helpful to have these qualities. So these are some things that you can work on, skills to build, either through classwork or extracurricular activities to help you prepare. It gives you that well-rounded look at the career. This tab is Salary and Outlook, and it's based on the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So this is all government statistics. And you can see that if we pick Iowa, what does it look like to have this job here in Iowa? So here's the national average salary per hour per year, starting salary, average salary, and then with a few years of experience. And that is right on par here in Iowa. So you can see what you would make average your first year out, what you're going to get a few years in with some experience, and then if you stay with that career long term, where you might end up down the road. And then it also, if you keep scrolling down, it gives you the outlook. So this career has a projected growth each year of 1.3%. So it's not a huge growth opportunity, but it is growing. It's not a declining field. This is good to know because if you were to pick something that isn't growing, it's good to know that. You don't want to go through a lot of extra education and training only to find that that career is a dying field and there aren't job opportunities when you've completed your education and training. If some of this stuff sounded good, but you're like, it's not quite for me, but what might be similar? It gives you some other career opportunities that might fit into similar qualities and interests, but a little different. And that will give you some other places to look. So that is how you can look for career information through MyACT based on your interest inventories. You can also look at majors. So you can select and search through majors based on your career interest inventories. It will highlight different major areas. And so what I like to do is look at the major map, and I see I have 3: education, communications, and social sciences. So if I go back to that search and I type in education, then it's going to show me different majors that fit under an education heading. And then I can click on any of those, and it's going to do exactly what it did with the careers, but for a major. It's going to explain the details. You know, what does a post-secondary education major learn? How to teach students basic education, what kind of degrees do you get with post-secondary education? Typically you need more than 4 years to be a college or university teacher, which is adult and continuing ed. So then you can go into more details about what's important, what this major tends to look like, what occupations tend to come out of someone with this major. What kind of courses are you going to take? A lot of times you may think you're interested in a major, but then you get a course list and you're like, oof, I don't know if I want to take all of those courses. That might not interest me. I might want to look at something else. So this is just a good overview before you get into a degree program or some coursework and find out it's not for you. Maybe just looking at a class list and getting an idea will give you some more insight into your choices. It also gives you some suggested high school courses. So you could start taking more high-level English classes, or you could get into speech and drama. You could take a psychology class and find out you really don't like psychology, and maybe that gives you more insight into other majors you might look at that don't have so much to do with psychology, if that was something. You can do degrees. What kind of school are you looking for? So it says, it's mostly 2- and 4-year schools, so some career tech schools may offer a part of this degree. You might look at grad school. And then it goes into the different levels. So if you complete a certificate program or a 2-year program, you can become a paraprofessional or a teacher's aide. And then you could have that job with just 1 or 2 years, or you could transfer that to a 4-year school, complete your bachelor's degree. And then you would have more opportunities for different levels of education positions. And then if you continued on after that, then you would have the college level teaching opportunities. So it's important to look at within each career area or major pathway, the different levels of education and what different occupations are available, because not every career requires that 4-year degree. You could do a version of that career that only requires a 2-year degree or a 1-year certificate. And then just like the careers, there's a related tab that talks about if you're interested, but say you clicked on this one and don't want to go to grad school, you could look for something that has less requirements. So maybe just a general education teacher. They often can do a bachelor's degree and you can become a teacher. You don't necessarily have to have a master's degree. Once you've started exploring your careers and your majors and you've starred some things, if you go back to your plans dashboard and you click view your summary, it's going to give you a summarized sheet page of everything that you've done so far. So you've done, these are some of the majors that I starred that I found interesting, and this is where they match. So I starred editor. Turns out editor does not match any of my interests, abilities, or values. Doesn't mean I can't be an editor. It's just letting me know that according to this, it's not a perfect fit. If you scroll down, then you've got the careers, favorite occupations and what major is correlated to that. And then it says, have you considered these other things? So it's a nice summary of how to look at your inventory results. So now that I've done an overview, go take out your inventories, check out your results, and see about some areas you might want to explore for your future.